This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Sage advice from a former prime minister who's hoping the government learns from his mistakes. Our Amajal Knowles has the details of what Perry Christie shared during a recent interview.
Former Prime Minister Perry Christie cautioning the Minister administration on creating legislation that could possibly divide the country. In a rare interview, as Mr. Christie has been out of the public spotlight since resigning as Progressive Liberal Party leader in May, he offered some advice to the current administration in an area where he admitted he may have fell down.
The FNM must be very, very careful about the extent to which they engage in policies or decision-making that divides people and engenders dislike and even in some instances a hatred. They must exercise the greatest care in this regard because governance obliges you to be for me as a PLP as you are for the others as their FNM, and to make me feel that I count. And to the extent that I may have failed to engender that in people, I have to accept that.
Mr. Christie would go on to preach a message of a unity, saying the FNM should be trying to bring the country together as opposed to dividing it.
Also must be able to say, as someone who would wish to continue to make a contribution to the well-being of my country, that I hope my brothers and sisters who are now the government of the Bahamas understand that the role they have to play must be constantly working at unifying our people, making people understand that there are issues that must be adopted and agreed to by all of us, that there are circumstances that would make the Prime Minister, Hubert Ingram, the former Prime Minister, and Perry Christie, a former Prime Minister, sit down in one room and agree on a form of action good for our country whenever those circumstances arise.
Now, Mr. Christie's comments came while he appeared on the Love 97 radio program On Point, as he was one of several callers who spoke of the contributions of former parliamentarian Sir Arlington Butler, who died on Thursday evening. Now, as mentioned earlier, Mr. Christie resigned as PLP leader in May, and at the time said he accepted full responsibility for the party's defeat in the May 10th general election. He had relatively been out of the public eye until last month at the PLP convention, where he called for political discourse that's less coarse, defending himself against critics who have described him as delusional.
In other news this evening, outspoken clergyman Bishop Simeon Hall's calling on Haitian pastors to turn in illegal migrants. This in the wake of a Haitian sloop being found in western New Providence yesterday with no one in sight. Bishop Hall, in an interview with our news team, said Haitian pastors should not give refuge to those who break the law. The bishop went on to charge that the fact that a Haitian sloop landed unnoticed speaks volumes about the protection of the country's borders. The government has given illegals of all nationalities a December 31st deadline to voluntarily get out of the country. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.